and where that comes from and what it means to you. Right, we're live. So, Cardyl, Trionfante, thank you so much for joining us, man. And welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. Merry Christmas. I suppose we could say this is the Christmas edition, right? Because it's Christmas Eve. Cheers,
Yeah,
there we go. Absolutely love the sweater. Yep, rocking it. Mm. That's fantastic. I chatted with Coach Jim Brown, I think on Monday, and I had a jacket on, and South Africa's pretty hot at the moment. Johannesburg's relatively humid, so I was dying. So there's no jacket for today, and there's certainly not a Christmas sweater. I fortunately have a very very ugly one. So if I ever travel, then I'll take that with me. But all right.
that's that's the point of Christmas sweaters. There's the uglier the
The
better.
uglier the better. Absolutely. I think the uglier the more gift the uglier the gift, the more love from the person who gave it to you. So absolutely.
Does it light up?
No,
And
not.
sing Christmas songs?
Oh wow. Okay, no, I'm a little bit behind. This was from about 1987 that I got this one. So it,
Oh,
it it still fits a little bit. So it's not. It does have leather patches on it, which is really cool.
hey, kudos for you to getting it to last for
Yeah,
that long.
no, 100%. It's very important. It was from a wonderful aunt in England, and she had a great sense of humor. So it's something that I've hung on to. It means a lot. Very, very cool. So I just want to say thank you again for your time. I know it's been crazy. You've been incredibly busy getting back to the US after World Masters, and it was incredible to watch you perform. That's what I love about my job, either when we're streaming or both, or I'm commentating. You're right there in the heart of the action. You get to see the coach. I think I lost hearing in my left ear for about a month because of Coach Jim Brown being so vocal and so passionate. But you also were bringing a tremendous deal of energy to the platform. And I think I want to get into chatting about the comp and what that was like for you and what South Africa was like for you. But first, let's start off. Can you give us a little bit of background? I know you've been in the sport for a long time. I was trying to find a polite way to say that. You've got extensive experience in the sport, let's say that, rather than saying you're old.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, I'm older.
yep.
Like I got a master's championship, so that definitely means I'm over 39.
No, yeah, 100%. So tell us a little bit about yourself for our viewers who don't perhaps know you. And then also, how did you get into the sport of powerlifting and sport in general?
I started getting into lifting probably around 98 when I was living in Italy with my mom. She was in the Air Force and she was always having to go to the gym and stay up on her PT requirements.
Hmm.
So I would just out of support go with her. And when I moved back to the States, I spent a summer at my grandma's house with my uncle, and we would basically watch Pumping Iron like at least once a week before we
Epic.
would go work out.
Right?
And at 13, like when that's your starting point, like standards are set pretty high.
That's really setting the bar high. That's absolutely I mean, that's not messing around, right?
But yeah, I lifted like on my own for about 2 years and I was doing sports the whole time, but I was really never good at any sports.
Hmm.
Like I probably did like at least half a dozen sports in my life. I did everything except football because I honestly thought I was too small and not fast enough to play football.
Right. You,
But
yep.
I got into powerlifting around like 2000. I was in my second year of wrestling and I was just tired of getting my ass kicked. Like I was a freshman in like the 85 kilo class, the 86 kilo class. It was about 189 pounds, but I was a freshman wrestling seniors and uh, when we had to do wrestle offs for varsity, I got slammed in a head and arm throw that basically threw my back and my hip out. And I said, I
Wow.
am never,
Okay.
ever letting that happen to me again. So that's what started powerlifting. And I didn't even know it at the time, but the only team that I could lift with if I wanted to like lift with a team and not on my own anymore was the Air Force team that was stationed out of Minot, North Dakota, because I was living in North Dakota when
Okay.
we moved back stateside. The person who was running that team, Gene Bell.
No ways. Okay. That's
That was
that's
my first coach. I had
wow.
no idea who he was.
Wow.
I just knew that like he was the expert and he led a couple of teams in Europe and he had a bunch of national titles and everybody just kind of flocked to him and took me under his wing. He got to see a couple of my wrestling matches and before the end of the wrestling season, I had figured out that I was getting way better at powerlifting than I was at wrestling. So when I had to choose between like training full time with one versus the other, because I couldn't make both team practices, powerlifting won out, and it wasn't an easy decision. But
Mm-hmm.
when I look at all of the stuff that I was doing in wrestling and how long it was taking to get better, it was just easier to do powerlifting because the no contact thing is a really big like selling point. I still love wrestling, but I knew I wasn't getting any scholarships with it, and
Mm.
I wasn't getting any scholarships with powerlifting easier either. So if I could just get better at something and possibly be competitive one day, it took me. Uh, I went to my first nationals like early on. I went in like 2022. I ended up
Okay.
bombing out,
Mm. Sure.
but came back right after and took top three, and that's when I was hooked. Because once you get to nationals and you get to see the best competing against each other, it's hard to like step back from that.
Sure, absolutely. There's so many points that I actually want to chat to you about that. So, firstly, I mean, getting to train with Gene Bell, that's absolutely unbelievable. We could, it was great watching your technique as well, because very, very textbook. There was a lot of energy and passion you were bringing to the platform. So I could see now that coming from wrestling. But what I wanted to ask you on the wrestling side, wrestling's an incredible sport, and I come from a jiu-jitsu background where if you look at what the Gracies say, you have to be like a pit bull and an anaconda. You cannot keep tension all the time, otherwise you fatigue yourself. So you've got to be able to flow, get the tension when you need it on and off. Do you find that some of the wrestling background helped with the lifting, with the instantly creating tension and then being able to relax? Did you find a carryover with that?
Not only that, but the body awareness and the
Mm,
spatial awareness.
yeah,
If you know how to tell your body position by feel and you don't need constant visual feedback or audible cues, I think that in and of itself makes you a better lifter. You
right.
literally have to know your own body.
Sure.
Like the weight is the weight. There's like some tricks to it. Like you and I both know that once the bar gets over like 220 kilograms, you start to get that wobbling effect. And
Mm,
that's a totally different animal than a bar that's stiff the whole time.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, for most people, like the best thing I can tell you about wrestling is knowing your spatial and body awareness and then knowing your conditioning because
Mm,
be competing is great, but if you don't know how to compete when you're tired or you don't know how to um factor in how stress is going to play in your ability to like keep your stamina up before fatigue sets in, you're only doing yourself a disservice by not
yeah.
addressing those.
Yeah, that's such a valid point, and I've got to chat to lifters over the years on the podcast, and where you suddenly have people where there's only three or four in a flight, and maybe it may even be equipped, and particularly with the heavier guys, if you don't have fitness, you're finished, and you're doing yourself a huge disservice, and it's something that powerlifters really do need to bring in. And I think if you look at Olympic level wrestlers and Olympic level judo, they are different. I don't even think they're part of the human species at that level. Just the fitness, the body awareness is huge, where you don't need your coach to tell you what to do. You're feeling your shoulders, you're feeling your feet, you're feeling your thighs, you're feeling the bar. You know exactly where you are. You can squat with your eyes closed. You know exactly what's happening because the feedback from your feet. And that's such an incredibly valid point. And it's quite a big thing in South Africa. I grew up in Cape Town, so mainly more in Cape Town, where when we started at primary school, so probably from the age of 7 or 8, judo was one of the things that you had to take. And judo as a foundation, we didn't really have wrestling in South Africa. Just to help kids develop, you could do judo and track, or judo rugby, judo cricket, judo swimming. But it was such a great foundation. So I think that's really that's invaluable advice, and I loved that. I loved hearing that from you as well. So it's made me very, very happy to hear. Would you suggest that parents are starting their kids off with wrestling or judo, jiu-jitsu, one of those sports?
Any of those sports that teaches you how to like learn how the body
Mm,
works, and not only that, learning how other people's bodies works. Because, like you said, with the whole learning about tension
yeah.
and things like that, a lot of people don't realize with stuff like wrestling, if you tense up, you've just made yourself a rigid object. It's a lot easier to move something
Yep.
that's rigid versus something that's stiff. And I know you've watched enough of the strongman events to see
Yeah.
what a sandbag lift looks like versus a stone lift.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Very, very horrible. I know many athletes in strongman that they'll always pick an event that they love, whether it's the carries, the yoke walk, the farmer's carries, the stone, the axle bar. No one says my
Yeah.
best is the sandbag because it's not giving you anything. Every time you're readjusting, it's readjusting as well.
Yep.
So for you, training with Gene Bell, what was that like? When did you start to sort of realize this incredible opportunity that you had in this, one of the greatest of all times?
um, so the first time I noticed like the kind of presence that Gene had was when I went to the Arnold, and I was sitting backstage helping out, and because I was spotting and loading at the
Hmm.
time, volunteering for those events. And Gene and Ed Cohen are just sitting back there cracking jokes, laughing their asses off. And as he walks off, I'm like, Gene, was that? It's like, yeah, that used to be my one of my teammates. We go way back. I'm like,
Yeah,
but that's like, yeah, I
yeah.
know. Just get back to work.
Go back to it. I don't think there's ever been a more coach statement than that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get back to work. Go on. Yeah. Because they know you'll
But yeah.
process it afterwards. Oh, that's absolutely incredible. What was your first powerlifting comp, and what was that like for you?
First powerlifting comp was South Dakota Open, and it was it was just one state over from North Dakota. But the fact that we used to live in South Dakota, I liked it because it was an opportunity to get to go see a bunch of old places that I knew from my childhood,
Hmm.
and got to see Mount Rushmore again. Got to see the Badlands, and um, just as a comp, like I was the only teenager on the team, so I got to watch the whole Air Force roster lift first, and then it was me. And there's a couple of kids that were competing there too, and they were all like setting records and stuff. And this was my first meet. I didn't even know about records. And
Mm-mm.
so as I'm watching these kids set state records, national records, I'm just kind of beside myself, realizing that I've got a lot more work to do than I thought. Yeah, I'm good at powerlifting, but if I want to be like as good as I had hoped to be in wrestling, like there's a lot more work that needs to be done. But
Right. What
it
was?
was it was it was a fun experience, and yeah, it was easy to keep coming back because I realized that like all that training and stuff, when you go to competition, best case scenario, you're on the platform for like 9 minutes tops, and that's
Yeah,
if you run the clock out every single
yeah.
time.
And if you're doing that, you're not making friends with the spotters and loaders. So,
No, but
yeah,
rules are rules, and they
yeah,
have a timer up there for a reason.
yep.
You go when you're ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's such an interesting thing where you talk about sort of realizing that there was a lot more work to be done. I think sometimes if we look at a lot of the more modern sports, and not to give the youngsters a hard time today, but sometimes if we're not good at something immediately, then we move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. What was it within you that sort of made you make the decision? Hey, I'm not, because more work means I'm not as good as where I want to be yet. It's me, it's not the sport, and I need to move on and improve. What was it that sort of shifted that for you? Is that always how you felt?
Well, seeing that it's really only based on the three lifts,
Mm,
like, yeah, there's levels to powerlifting, but at the end of the day, it's three movements. You have your whole life to get better at those, and the movements themselves are pretty simple. So it's like most of the training that goes into it is just learning how to perfect that technique or learning how to hold your stamina as you're going through more pressure. And then the weights, they go up eventually, but there's no real tricks that are gonna like give you an edge. It's literally
mm, mm.
it's like wrestling in that it's very evident who's doing the work and who's not.
That 100%. What oh, flip. The name has slipped my mind, but he wrote the simple iron truth, and that's it. The bar doesn't lie, and it gives you back what you put into it, and it's a wonderful yardstick for you to develop a work ethic to understand: are you putting in the work that you need to do, and are you developing, and are you growing? With a career as extensive as yours, with the amount of time that you've been on the platform, have you adapted things over the years? Have you tweaked? Have you continued to evolve your lifting?
Oh yeah, like 100% like lifestyle. As your lifestyle changes, your training has to accommodate it because if you try to superimpose, like one's going to suffer, the other's going to suffer.
Mm, mm.
And I already went through the phase of my life where I superimposed training and just life came second. And it's okay if you're really, really driven and that's what you want. But when you step back and look at all the times you could have just modified your training a little bit or rescheduled,
Mm.
or you don't have to be so gung ho on going like 5, 6 times a week to get all these different sessions in. You can combine stuff and you have to learn like what days are just days where if you can't make it, just make it up the next day.
Yeah. I think that that level of kindness and forgiveness for oneself while maintaining the work ethic is absolutely crucial, because, sometimes that rest, that backing off is going to serve you much, much better rather than going and trying to push through and having a potential injury. And it's not about being lazy, it's about understanding and the connection to your body, your mind, and also how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So who was I chatting to? It was one of the coaches, one of the athletes on here, where they weren't able to train 6 weeks out of a comp, and I think it was Coach Jim Brown saying he had 6 weeks, sort of to prep, and he had been off for months, and then they had a great competition, and sometimes that actually happens where a little bit of a longer rest period and break really help us. What was it like the first time for you going to nationals and representing your country?
To nationals.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, to an international event. Excuse me. Sorry, more coffee.
So the first time I went to Worlds
Mm,
was in 2008, and that was also in South Africa.
mm.
So
Was that in
it was
Potchefstroom?
yeah,
Yep.
Potchefstroom.
Yep.
It was supposed to be Sun City, and all I thought about was like Strongman and all the
Yeah.
Sun City things that happened there. And then about a month or so out, they changed it to Potchefstroom. It's like I've never even heard of this town. Oh well, it's still Worlds. I got to rep my team,
The
and
bustling
it
metropolis,
almost
eh?
didn't happen.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it almost didn't happen by
Mm,
going to Worlds the first time because though I had won nationals for university, junior nationals was the one contest you could go to challenge whoever had the seed for that team
mm-hmm.
spot. And I ended up losing my seed because I lost at junior nationals. So I got put on the alternate list, and I was literally the very last person they called.
Oh
And they
wow.
said, "All right, we need an alternate. Can you compete in South Africa?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been waiting. Like, what took you guys so long?" They're like, "Well, there was a list, and we had to go through a lot of other people first. And based on body weight, you're next on the list. You got 24 hours to decide."
Right. Sure.
So
What was it
I
like
had
getting
a
that
day
call?
to um, I was super excited for it, and I just jumped at the chance, and I said I would figure out like how I was going to pay for it later. I
Mm,
just needed to get the money together to punch my ticket. And once I got it done, I just did nothing but focus on training, and it was a very surreal experience because I'm pretty sure that most people knew I was the last alternate going in.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, dynamics with teams is real different with the American side, especially the juniors, because if you're not going with the teammates you've like trained with all year, you're basically, unless you've been in the game for a while, you're kind of lifting with a bunch of strangers, and the week that you're with them at competition is like the only chance you'll really get to like know them, because most of the time it meets for like nationals and states, you're there for a couple of hours, but if you didn't come there with that lifter,
Mm.
you're only talking to them in passing, like in the warm up room or in the back as you're waiting for attempts. And you might get lucky and like go have lunch or dinner with that person. But a lot of times when you're going to these meets, it's very, all right, we got to get this stuff done and go home. Like, I already traveled a bunch to be here. I'm not trying to stay here all day.
Yeah, yeah. I think the attention on comp day is very much on the lifting and the focus. It's, people can be polite, but they're not there to socialize and hang out and forget and miss a lift, a call for an attempt. Everyone's very, very focused. So what
Yeah. There are some that are there to
yeah.
socialize, but they get reminded very quickly of the people that are not there to
To
socialize.
socialize in the most polite and respectful way, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like for you being in South Africa, arriving in Potch? Potch is a very special place. The Elgra Hotel. It's very special for South Africans. It means a lot to us, that venue. A lot of competitions have been taking place there over the years, but to actually be part of the team, to arrive, to lift, what was that like? Did it sort of meet your expectations, or was it a bit of a wow factor?
It met my expectations, but the biggest thing I learned was that nobody's invincible. Everybody can have a bad day,
Mm.
and people that were seeded to like be top three or even win, a lot of them had bad days. One of our middleweights, he was a 75 kilo
Mm-hmm.
lifter. I think his name was Malik Durstein. He ended up bombing out. He was happy that he still got gold medals, but the fact that he bombed out, like, I think it was the first time he had ever bombed out of a competition. So watching him not take that very well for the rest of the week was an interesting experience. Um, I had to always cut tons of weight, and there
Mm.
was a couple other people that had to cut weight too, and that weirdly became a bonding thing because I would sit in the sauna with people from other teams and just sweat stuff out and
Mm-hmm.
have conversations with people. But watching people go through every part of the process and realize that, like, oh, I'm not the only one that has to do this stuff. I'm not the only one cutting weight. I thought that was just the wrestling thing, but apparently more power lifters than just me have to like make weight.
Yeah, that I think sometimes the cutting the weight can be the real competition and the real challenge, where the platform becomes a little bit easier.
Actually, the challenge for me wasn't the cutting the weight. It
Mm.
was staying away from the food, because both times I went to South Africa, it's really hard to say no to food.
Yeah, and I think our steak
Like,
is
it's
pretty
like
good. Our meat
anything
is
you eat
great.
there is good.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I ate steak every day the last when I went to Cape Town. That
Yeah.
was probably the best part of the trip.
There's a restaurant in Potchefstroom called Koperasi, and they've got a 1 kilo T-bone steak for it's about $7.50, and absolutely fantastic. So if there is another competition there, definitely we'll take you there and have a good steak. Because I think I mean, the steak is fuel for powerlifters. Makes us happy.
Oh yeah, Cape Cape Town had this place
Mm.
that the concierge recommended to me, Iron Steak, and
Okay.
they have their smallest tomahawk ribeye was 1.1 kilos,
Oh wow. Okay.
and they go all the way up to I think 1.5 or 1.7.
Right. So how big did you go? What was your total?
Oh, I got the
Okay.
smallest one.
Okay, fair. That's still a very, very big piece of meat. So let's chat about Cape Town as well. What was that like for you? What did you think of the city and the venue, the location?
Oh, I loved it.
Yep.
I loved all of it. Like since I was wanting to go as a coach. I had a totally different mindset about like going to Cape Town.
Mm,
And when I got told that I wasn't going to be a coach, that I'm just lifting, I was like, oh, well, what am I going to do with all this time? Oh, that's right. I don't have to go for 2 weeks now. I just need to go for the time that I'm going to be lifting. So I booked the trip for like 6 days. Two of it was flying because the connecting
mm,
flight, I had to fly to New Jersey. The flight from New Jersey to Cape Town, even though it's a direct flight, it's still a 16-hour
yeah,
flight.
it's long. Okay.
Yeah, it was long enough that I told myself if I win, I don't care what it costs. I'm upgrading my seat because there's no way I'm riding like economy like
Again.
ever again
Yeah.
if I have to do this flight.
Yeah, we, I think we did too. We were up in Tunisia now for the Africa Champs, and there was like two 8 hour flights, 8 hours and 7 hours. It was economy is not fun. Where
No.
particularly for me in the 105 division, so it's not always the easiest. And yeah, flying definitely can be a challenge. Just before we talk about the comp, did you get to experience some of Cape Town? You mentioned the restaurant. Did you get to see the mountain, the
Oh yeah.
beach? Tell us a little bit about that.
I toured every single day
Mm,
except the day that I competed. The first day I was there, I did the peninsula tour, so I
mm-hmm,
got to see the Atlantic and Indian Ocean side of the peninsula. So, and that was only supposed to be a half day tour. We were supposed to be done at like 12:30.
mm-hmm.
The guy who took us, he was a really young tour guide. I don't even think, I think he was only like 27, 28, but he had been a tour guide since he was 16.
Wow. Yeah.
So he just, anytime people were saying, hey, you don't care if we stay a couple extra minutes, do you? Like, this place is so beautiful, and I haven't even started taking pictures yet. I just want to take it all in. He's like, oh, take your time. I'm in no rush. And we didn't end up getting back till almost 4 in the afternoon. It
Oh
ended up
wow.
being just shy of a full day tour. I'm sure his boss wasn't happy about it, and he kept telling us, he's like, just so you know, I'm probably the only person that actually doesn't stick to a schedule.
Yeah.
You get a tour from anyone else, they're going to be on you and give you like 10, 15 minutes and then be like, back on the bus, gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you get to see Cape Point?
Oh, I got
Yeah.
to see Cape Point, got tons of pictures there, got to see free range
Mm-hmm.
ostriches as we were riding. I got to see some of the elands and the springboks
Awesome.
um and that was day one. I went
Sure.
on a whale watching tour the next day
Uh,
out in
uh,
Herman,
in
a little bit
Hermanus?
past Herman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That what did you think of Hermanus? I think it's one of the most beautiful towns. That's a great town to spend a few days, walk around, great bookstores, great clothing stores, great art galleries and antique stores, and fantastic restaurants as well. Mm,
I felt like I got dropped in the middle of like Scandinavia, but the climate was way warmer. The
yeah.
housing is so different and just it literally felt like you were in a whaling village or
Mm,
something.
mm.
Like just the atmosphere is so different there. And like the entire time I was in South Africa, I just kept getting flashbacks of like living in Europe because it's like you've got some of the reminders that you're in Africa, but a lot
Mm.
of the houses that are set up, they just scream European.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing mix. Table Mountain, did you get a chance to go up?
I did not get a
Okay.
chance to go up. I
Mm,
got to I stayed at Sky Hotel, so
okay.
I started every day eating breakfast
How were
at
those
the restaurant
breakfasts
hotels. Oh, it was great.
and that view?
Like, oh yeah, Table Mountain and Lion's Head. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And we had a pool that
Hmm.
was open during the night too. And I didn't even realize this. You guys have floodlights like centered on Table Mountain,
Yes.
and America does that with Mount Rushmore. So it's like, yeah, just enjoy the peaks all day.
That's it is. It's very, very special with that sort of that view of the mountain behind the city. It's incredible. You get to see the harbor. If you get in early enough, you get to see sunrise over the harbor at that restaurant. And the food's absolutely fantastic at the hotel as well. what what did you think of the gold foyer?
The gold foyer.
The entrance to the hotel with all the gold tiles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It honestly, it felt like I was it felt like one of the superstores in the middle of New York City when they're getting ready for
Christmas,
Christmas.
yeah. Christmas 365. It's interesting because that hotel used to be an office building and they converted it to a hotel. And we used to have our offices in that building. And the one room that I stayed in, you sort of have a curved, the one side where you walk into the hotel, there's the curved rooms. And that was our old
Yeah.
CEO's office. So I was staying in one of those rooms. I phoned him up. I said, listen, Mike, I'm sleeping in your office tonight. So thought
Wow.
thought that was a
The
bit of fun. So yep,
the one thing at the hotel I wanted to do and never got to
you
do,
didn't go. You
the
didn't. Oh,
the ride,
yep.
the sky ride at the top of the building. It was closed every day I was there because of the wind.
Oh, flip. Yeah.
It did not reopen until 3 p.m. the day that I was scheduled to leave,
Oh
and
no.
I had to be at the Fire and Ice Hotel because my shuttles got mixed up. So I couldn't even
Oh,
stay at the Sky Hotel long enough to do the ride and get my shuttle. They're like, "Oh, your shuttle's not here at 3. It's at the Pretoria
yeah,
or
yeah.
at the Fire and Ice Hotel. You need to get over there on the opposite side of town now."
Oh no. Oh, flip. That ride is incredible. So I haven't done it yet, but I've got great footage of it. I have a bit of a challenge with heights. So hopefully next time we do it in Cape Town, you'll be able to do it again.
Yeah,
We have.
that's my hope.
Okay, no, excellent. We have another comp there. I'll chat to the guys at the hotel. I mean, the staff at the Fire Sky and Fire and Ice, they're really fantastic. It's great, great guys to deal with. I think is it Dwayne? I think that's the concierge at the
Dane.
Hotel Sky. Yeah. So great guy,
Yeah.
incredible knowledge on the city or where to go and what to do. So very cool.
He set me up on all of my tours. He was such a and
Mm,
in the last day because they really kept trying to sell me on the wine tours. I'm like,
yeah.
yes, I get it. South Africa's good on wine. It's like, no, you're going on this wine tour. We'll book you for a half day. Your flight's not till like 8 o'clock at night. You're going on this tour. So I listened to Dane. I took the tour.
Mm,
I was very happy about it because within a 4 day time span, I got to see the whole Cape Peninsula. I got to see the big five in a marine safari because it wasn't just whales. I got to see
mm.
dolphin, sharks, penguins, and seals too.
Wow.
And then I got to go to Stellenbosch and like one other winery, but I probably had a week's worth of South Africa compressed into 3 days.
That's no, that's a heck of a lot. But I mean, it's amazing. And would you tell people to come to Cape Town? I mean, it's a worthwhile place to come and visit? It's far, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. The hard part is just getting there.
Yeah.
Like it's not cheap to get there and it's a really long flight, but I would definitely say if you can get the direct flight to Cape Town, like 16-hour flight sucks, but at
Mm,
least you're there and
yeah.
you don't have to go through like customs twice.
Yeah.
If you land somewhere else, you have to go through their customs, and then once you get to Cape Town, you possibly have to do it
To
again.
do it again, and you got to sit and wait. I mean, we had a 3 hour layover. I think the longest layover I've ever had was coming back from Morocco. It was 14 hours in Qatar after an Africa Champs. That was a long flight. It was like 36 hours
Oh,
door to door. Not fun. And I think, it's interesting because Harney Smith, the event organizer, that's why Harney's so passionate about getting so many competitions in South Africa because it's far for us. Wherever we go, that's the type of travel and trips that we have to do. I remember for bench last year in Texas, and we sent one of our coaches with one of our athletes, and he had to do three flights. He flew via Paris and
uh,
then New York and then through to Texas. So it was his first time overseas, so he loved it. But it's a lot of travel. And I think chatting about the comp, what was that like for you? What was the experience like? Because as I said, you brought unbelievable Cardyl, seriously, unbelievable energy to the platform. It was epic to watch. You woke up those audience more than I could ever do.
well, in squat, I definitely would attribute that to the choice and color for my outfit because
Mm,
everybody was asking why I use the highlighter yellow. stuff, and it's like it's all about contrast. If everything looks the same, you're giving the judges the ability to like doubt anything you do. But
Yep. Great
as that
advice.
contrast, and it's very clear
Mm,
if you are in the wrong or in the right with stuff that is regarding technique. And then as far as like the actual energy, the last time I was at Worlds was 2008. So that's like 17 years of waiting
okay.
to be able to shoot my shot and redeem myself. Because when I went to Worlds as a junior, I was like one lift away from medaling in every event and ended up getting fifth overall. And it just ate at me because it's like with Worlds, it's literally the only chance, even if you bomb out to medal individual events.
Mm, mm.
I'm pretty sure that's why everybody goes, because it's like you got four chances
Yeah.
to take something away. And not that I've ever seen it happen, but technically you could medal in nothing and still win on total and get
Mm,
a gold
mm.
medal there. But it's just like any chance to get a medal is a good chance. And even if you're the best at nationals, they only care about one thing, the total.
Yeah, that's it. So amazing. Just to touch on your sort of the singlet, it's showing great experience. I think the one thing that, and South Africa's had a big drive in terms of growing and developing our coaches and our referees. So, for example, if you want to be a coach at national level, you have to be a referee. At least I think at club provincial level. So we're trying to grow it and get the support going. But the fact that you're dressing in a way to make the lift as easy as possible for the referees to pass, then I mean that's the right approach and the right attitude. It drives me mad when I see athletes cutting their squats like they're just trying to hit parallel. Train for an extra inch or two. Make it impossible for the referees to fail your lifts. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right there in the rules. Like you don't have to do ass to grass squatting. It
Yeah,
literally says there in the books to the letter, top of the hip or crease in the hip has to be
below the
below the
knee.
top of
Yep,
the knee.
yep.
And like if you're just looking for those 2 points as a ref, it's real easy to like figure that out. The only thing that makes it difficult is if people are monochromatic, they're just wearing all the same color, black belt, black
Mm,
singlet,
mm.
black sleeves, black shirt. If it all looks like a giant silhouette, it's really hard to judge stuff like that.
Yep,
But um as far as squat depth, like a lot of people just got to be honest with themselves. And I've had to retrain my squat for depth too, because over the years I've
mm-hmm.
just gotten complacent and assumed that I know where the spot is when I hit it. And it's fine in training, but then you get those reminders in comp where it's like, no,
Yep.
you'll get one red light or two red lights on depth, and it's like, no, I'm pretty sure I hit depth. And then you go back and watch it, and it's like, oh, damn it, what was I thinking?
Yeah, that's, and I think it's a challenge to have clear thought in that competition, in the height, in the hype, when you've got the energy, it's pumping, you're full of adrenaline, you're wanting to get it to go. You believe 100% that you got that squat in, and as you said, when you go back and look at your lifting, then it's a definite no go, and
Yeah.
you've missed that. For you, were you happy with the results?
I was happy with the results. Like the big thing for me was even though I saw I was seated as like the top competitor,
Mm,
I know with nominations in the past that a lot of times people aren't putting up their true numbers. And the one person I knew I was going to have to worry about, I'm so glad I did my homework on because the guy from Poland, Marius
mm-hmm.
or Martinez,
Yeah,
whatever his name
yes.
was, his all of his numbers that he put up were raw, and I knew that he was a top level bencher that went to World several times. So I was like, all right, well, even if this guy doesn't have experience with gear, just based on his raw bench and his subtotal alone, I already know that I'm going to have to, at the very least, like stay within 20, 30 keys of him till we
Mm,
get to
mm,
deadlift.
right. And then just to
And
keep, yep. Sorry.
that ended up working out well for me because he was warming up in the back with his deadlift suit on, and I didn't even have to look at him. I could hear his form from the
Mm-mm.
other side of the room. And as he was warming up, I was like, there's no way this guy has more than 10 kilos on top of whatever he just finished with his warm up. And I
Mm-mm.
watched him do his opener, drop the deadlift, and it's like, oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
And second lift, nobody caught it but me. He switched out of his deadlift suit back to a singlet. It's like, oh, well, your ceiling is really low now. All I have to do is hang on.
Mm-mm. Sure. So just in chatting to you, I can, there's a huge amount of experience, and I wanted to get your thoughts on one of the things that drives me mad, coming from a coaching background and also competing. When you have younger athletes or new lifters saying, "I'll compete when I can win." You know, that's your, I'd love your thoughts on that, as opposed to just, time on the platform, get up there and just lift, get in as many competitions if you as you can do. If you have a bad comp, get into the next one. Don't let that be the end of your career for a year or two. I'd love your thoughts.
If all you're focused on is winning, it's very easy to sign up for local comps where either you're the only competitor in your weight class or you're lifting against a bunch of rookies that are
Mm,
just trying to get numbers on the board. Like, I've been doing this long enough. Winning, it's not really all that fulfilling unless you've got actual competition.
yeah.
For me, Worlds was nice because it's like, oh, thank God I don't have to compete by myself anymore. I'm so tired of like just going to competitions and you're literally paying money to lift on a platform with judges. You're not competing against
Mm,
anyone. So half the time when I get medals for those competitions, I will just end up giving the medal to my kids or people I work with. Like, I know when I was at university with Louisiana State, get my PhD,
mm,
when I won a medal at the Arnold, I got a bronze medal for the Raw Challenge. I ended up donating that to my school
okay.
because it was like, for me, it was just the experience was enough.
Yeah.
And like, I had already been to Worlds at that point and won a couple of national titles. As cool as it was to lift at the Arnold, I was more grateful that my university gave me the opportunity to go while I was on scholarship earning my graduate degree.
Right.
So it's like, here you guys go. Sorry, it's not much, but you can say that you had a pro athlete compete at the Arnold, and it's still like up in their it's still up in their kinesiology department with some of the other stuff that they have hanging up for awards and stuff for their former athletes.
But I mean, that's absolutely epic. So, are you coming from the point of view, perhaps, where you're viewing every competition almost as practice for the next competition?
Yeah, that's
Mm,
exactly what it is.
okay.
Like local and state
Mm,
competitions, that's literally practicing for nationals. And uh usually if I'm not at nationals, the heaviest I'm going is what I would do for a second attempt at nationals.
right.
And at nationals, that's practice for worlds. So trying not to give everything away. If you're at nationals, you probably shouldn't go above second attempts of what you want to do at worlds, because
Yep.
if you waste those attempts, those go on your nominations and you're completely exposed and everybody else knows your range. And I know that lifters don't usually look at that, but coaches do
Mm.
because that's their job.
Yep, absolutely. And it's just it's always like you got to do the minimum that you need to get through to get your place on the team, or just to make it from club or provincial internationals, and not going too big. I think the international level is really where you want to shine, unless you know you're not going to get the opportunity to do that and to shine. And I think the thing as well, Cardyl, which I love, is it's the mindset of each comp really is prep for the next competition. And this can really be a lifetime thing, because it's a lifetime of learning and growing and developing. And then if you come with that mindset, I'd like your thoughts on this as well, is you never really then have a bad competition, because if the comp goes great, you learn a little bit. If the comp goes terribly, you learn a lot.
Yeah. And that's the thing I wish more people would focus on. With comp, people focus on their numbers.
Mm,
Or did I get this record? Did I qualify? They don't go back and look at their bad lifts. All right, why did I miss this lift? They just see that they missed it, but they don't look at the side notes. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about like national worlds. You get the color markers that let you go back at the rules and figure out what made you miss that
Mm.
lift. Did you miss it outright or did you miss it on a technicality? Can that technicality be fixed? And then with equipment, was it an equipment issue? Did you fall out of groove? Did you time it wrong?
Mm.
Or do you just need to like wear a different piece of equipment when you're trying that type of weight? Because I wish, and with equip lifting, that's like really the big reason I wanted to go to Worlds, because I feel like equip lifting, especially with the age group divisions,
Mm-hmm.
is slowly starting to fall off in favor of raw lifting or classic lifting. But a lot of people, when they start going into equipment, they think that tighter is better and they just want to get the best of the best so they don't have to spend a ton of money on gear. And it's like, there's levels to that too. And if you start wearing stuff that's comp fit right out the gate, it's going to totally change your lifting patterns because
Mm.
you don't know the type of resistance that that puts up. And most people get disheartened from it because they don't want to deal with the literal fight you have to do to go through to get the bar down.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
uh, Gene taught me about all this little stuff that I took
Mm.
for granted that I guess a lot of people don't do, but breaking in equipment, that used to be a thing and people don't talk about it anymore.
Mm. Mm.
And I tell people all the time with equipment, if you've never done it before, your options are buy gear loose, buy gear that's used because it's already broken in. If you have to buy brand new gear, please don't buy it tight because you need to break it in. And if you're going to break it in, like have somebody who's smaller than you wear it so
Mm.
that it's loose on them and then get through full range of motion. Or if you don't trust anybody to wear your stuff and break it in, you're gonna have to buy hardware and stretch all the parts out.
Right. No, Hugh, I mean, it's you wouldn't buy a new pair of sneakers and go and run a marathon that day. You would get some miles in those shoes first because you're going to pay for it. And equipped is exactly the same, you know. And it just there's a
Yeah.
we I had a client once who got a brand new pair of Vibram Five Fingers, the you know those shoes with the no, and went and ran a 21 kilometer in it straight off. And I don't think he could walk for 2 weeks. And he actually did some damage to his knee. And it's like, yeah, that's the thing with equipped. It's just what's amazing about it. And unfortunately, as you said, we don't perhaps see enough lifters doing that. Moving from, I think most people are moving from classic into equipped. It's just an opportunity to learn. Technically, for in my belief, it's a different sport. You know,
Yeah.
especially with a bench, you're just learning a new skill set. You're learning a new sport, and you all of these amazing, incredible things that you have this opportunity to do and to develop. That's what makes it so special. It's not about putting on a shirt and you immediately get an extra 120 kilos.
No, you have to totally retrain your movement
Mm.
patterns and the types of muscles you're using because most people don't realize like how much a suit helps with squat
Mm.
until they use it for 2 months and then take it away and try to squat raw
Yeah,
after 2 months of being in a suit.
that's
And people don't realize like you sit back a lot more with a suit than you do in classic. And most people, when they try to mimic the form that they see in equipped, they just get pinned and they can't get back up. It's like, why do I keep getting stuck at the bottom? It's like, well,
yeah,
you don't have a suit to like counter you're reaching back. Like
yeah.
there's rebound in that. That's what brings you forward.
That's it. It's using approach. I stand under correction. I think I was chatting to Mike Rodriguez, and I think with I think he grabbed his deadlift suit by mistake for his squats. And
Oh yeah, he didn't even realize that till he got the pictures.
yeah, you know, even for experienced athletes, it happens. That's what makes it entertaining and exciting. So a lot of fun with that. It was amazing to watch you guys lift, and just I think just you see when you see an athlete in that groove. And it's a wonderful thing to watch with the equipped lifting. It's like, come on, up, 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 get it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And just, you know, I think most of with the bench, it's fighting for that spot on the chest or on your tummy. Like the up part is just it's work and grind, but it's getting it down into that right spot, and just absolutely incredible to watch. I wanted to ask you, we've got a couple of fun questions that we like to ask our guests, so nothing too serious. Firstly, for you, what do you love about powerlifting?
What I love about it is the fact that it's so simple. Literally anybody can do it.
Mm,
It doesn't matter. Most of the time, your physical limitation does not matter. There's a way to get the lift. I've been in the sport long
sure.
enough. I've seen people that only have one leg that will go out and do a full meet. They'll do a squat, they'll do a bench, they'll
Hmm.
do a deadlift on one leg.
Yep. There's a gentleman from the UK. We live streamed and photographed the WPC World Champs in Durban, and also one leg, and he's there and doing it, and grinding, and having fun, which is absolutely incredible to watch. It's I absolutely love that attitude, because the sport will give you what you're willing to trust it to give you, as opposed to coming with your own thoughts and your own rules and your own expectations. It's almost like trust the coach, but trust the sport.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, the thing that I love about this sport more than
Mm-hmm.
anything else, once I became a grad student and I started doing a research based approach to my training, my lifting, my coaching, that really opened Gene's eyes up. And when he saw that I was getting my PhD
Mm-hmm.
and my subject matter that I was studying was powerlifting,
Wow.
it it just, I guess, it garnered a new level of respect slash understanding, because he always knew I was passionate about it and he knew
Mm-hmm.
I was smart. But the fact that I was able to not just get a degree in it, but turn it into something that was useful, because
That's
with
epic.
it, I've been a university professor, I've coached a couple of different major teams, and now I work for Amazon in their safety department. So now all of this training that I have is geared towards like injury prevention and studying biomechanics in an industrial environment.
Sure. That's unbelievable. That's something we'd love to be able to chat to you on the show as well. I think it's absolutely incredible. I know we've just hit the top of the hour, and you've got to get off to some other commitments. Are you okay? We go for another 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. All right. So I think next question, also a lot of fun. You can be serious with this or fun. What drives you mad about powerlifting?
What drives me mad about powerlifting? The obsession with social media.
Hmm.
Like, I came from the era where everybody read, do you remember Powerlifting USA magazines?
Yep, I do.
And
Yep.
how
Yep.
everybody used to go through those like comic books, and you got all of your information from whoever had like the latest magazine, and you would just go through the spreadsheets and try to find the training secret articles. And like, when that fell off and everything became about like Instagram posts and
Mm,
making TikTok videos, and I get people taping themselves in the gym, but when people have tripods set up and the professional like LED lighting rings, and like basically you have half a studio
yeah.
like set up in front of a squat rack, but it takes you an hour to do 3 sets, like that's what drives me mad.
And guys are waiting to use the equipment.
Yeah.
100%. It's such an interesting point, and I think we could chat about this for literally for hours. Social media has done so much in terms of giving the sport exposure, bringing people to the sport, and giving coaches the opportunity to work around the world. But as you said, it's also made the focus too much on the social media side. The one thing I took a lot from, and hopefully I was able to apply it appropriately for my athletes and my own lifting, was taking advice from Dorian Yates, the ghost, where he would just disappear, and you wouldn't see him, and he would rock up at Worlds, at the Arnold's, and well, sorry, Mr. Universe, and everyone would be like, wow, what, how? And that's really the way that it should be. Don't let people see. And there are a couple of powerlifters that are like that. Some of the New Zealand guys, where they're keeping it quiet. And well, hello, there you go. And come and just you show what you got on the platform. You don't have to give samples ahead of time.
I've done it both ways,
Mm-hmm.
and this last time training for Worlds, it was in part trying to like procure a sponsorship with a sunglasses company known as Pit Viper.
Mm-hmm.
But I put training vids out like almost every week, 2 to 3 times a week, showing my progression through my training cycles, and knowing that I have like less than 1,000 followers and most of my video views never break like 200.
Hmm.
I just put the stuff out all the time, knowing that like unless I go viral and this stuff takes off, I can put whatever I want out. And
Yeah.
because people don't think that I'm popular, they're not really watching me. So they can't act surprised when I come out to competition and do what I do because I've been saying what I was going to do this whole time.
Right.
I didn't try to hide anything. I
Yeah.
put everything out there. And because I'm not a popular social media person, a lot of that stuff just goes unnoticed, unshared.
And
It doesn't
not
it
getting
doesn't
work,
hurt
but
me because
yeah.
it's like I gave you guys the ability to like see what I'm doing, and if you didn't act on it, that's kind of on you because I do the same thing for everyone else. I look up all the names on the nomination list, see what I can find video wise or
Yeah.
what I can find spreadsheet wise, because I'd rather know my competition than chase a bunch of numbers that I know I can do and have no idea what the other person is
Mm,
capable
mm,
of.
mm. Absolutely. That's great and solid advice. And for the lifters watching this, that's what you can base your career on and your competition style, and it'll only serve you incredibly well. Last question on this. Why should someone get involved in the sport of powerlifting?
Because powerlifting is one of those things that no matter what point you are in your life, even if you don't compete, like the benefits from training for
Mm,
it, just there's so much more to it than strength. If you do it right, you can use powerlifting along with a bunch of other fitness disciplines to combat lots of preventable chronic disease.
right.
It allows you to preserve your athleticism if you're trying to hold on to it because it's not just big heavy weights. You can lift, you can do powerlifting athletically. I'd like to think that I've shown that.
Hmm.
Like,
You're
it's not just like how
you're
heavy you
you're
can lift the
jumping
weight.
you're jumping on the platform showed that absolutely. You're getting some good height.
Oh yeah, that and Jim is always
Uh,
asking me. He's like, I get showing off, but why do you always stop the deadlift right before you put it on the floor? It's like, well, I'm not gonna ever get, I'm not gonna ever get called for slamming the bar
but
down.
yep, that's it.
So call me cheeky if you want, but there's nothing better than blocking out a deadlift than to be like right above the floor, stop, look at everybody, and be like, all right, is that soft enough for you?
Also good for terrifying competition, right?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
honestly a really good training accessory
Yeah.
because I watch people do pause deadlifts all the time,
Mm.
but they pause off the bottom. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I gotta work on building my strength off the floor. I'm like, all right, but if you stop right off the floor, how are you building your strength?
Yep.
If you do that in a competition, you're probably gonna miss the lift.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, once the bar starts moving up, it's got to keep moving because if you have any downward movement of the bar, you lose that lift.
That, and if you're leaning back a little bit and they're watching your thighs and there's an indentation, hitching. Yep, you've given that away. Actually, great advice. Very, very cool. So you guys have got you're hosting Masters next year in Reno, and can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that? Anything that we can be looking forward to? What are your expectations? Going to be having
Um,
some fun in your home country.
My expectations just it all depends on who shows up at
Mm.
nationals. I've been open with Jim about this. I got to talk to Desmond Jordan and
Yeah.
some of the other classic lifters that went to the Masters team, and I told them there's no way that like the equipped team should go unrepresented next year because the big thing for me was that we had I was the only M1 for men, so like even though I won, there's no chance to like win a team title, and that's
Mm,
what I
mm.
really wanted for the Masters teams to like take as many team titles as we can.
I believe that.
And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
my
Mm.
hopes is that we build up a bigger like Masters team than we built last year,
Awesome.
and that more of the classic lifters uh convert because the schedule's long enough. And I
Yeah.
mean, Michael Rodriguez did it. He was a double threat. He was able
Mm-hmm.
to win both divisions. And I've told people it's like if you can win at one, you can win at the other,
Yeah.
especially at the masters level.
That's it. Yeah, 100%. I think didn't the U.S. lifter, but well, the American, but he's from Denmark, John, the Italian surname. Oh, he's going to kill me. I've forgotten. He also did both, I think, as well. He was the M4. Um,
Yeah,
so listen, it's expensive to travel. You may as well do both comps. Then you're halving your travel cost per competition. Is the logic like that?
yeah.
Huh? So I think I know, chatting to Coach Jim Brown, there may be some bullying for Desmond Jordan apparently to come over to the equipped that I believe. So I'm actually chatting to him tomorrow morning from his gym. And I think that's going to be
Oh,
fantastic to chat with him and then some of the guys from the gym and in his lifting community. So that's going to be kind of cool. You want to take a big team with you. You want to have a large group of guys and girls going through and lifting and competing, and you want to have people to compete against because that's where you can bring out your best.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very cool. Oh, Cardyl, thank you again so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I know things have been hectic. I've absolutely loved chatting, and we would really love to get you back onto the show as well to chat a little bit more. And, just all the best with your lifting and with all the best for Christmas for you and the family. Have a wonderful, blessed, safe Christmas. And one last question. Sorry, I wanted to ask, what was it like moving weather-wise from Italy to Dakota?
Um, so a lot of people when they think North
Yeah,
Dakota, like I
Fargo.
mean, the movie Fargo
Yep.
comes to mind for a lot of people. Great movie,
Yep.
great show,
Yeah.
and
Not
it's
accurate.
just really cold up there. Really cold, really dry, really flat.
Yeah.
The hard thing to get used to was the elevation. The clouds are like just right there.
Oh
It's
wow.
almost like living in the mountains, but everything is
Mm.
just super flat. But yeah, just the fact that it's flat everywhere, the wind picks up really harsh, and probably the biggest culture shock to me
Mm.
was seeing outlets at all the major stores to plug your car battery in when you go shop.
Oh wow. So it didn't freeze?
Because it gets so cold,
Yeah.
that your engine block will freeze, so you have to plug your car in to prevent the engine oil or the antifreeze from freezing over and seizing up your car. That was
Wow.
the biggest. That
Okay.
was the biggest shock.
I can't even get my head around that. The coldest we get here sometimes is -4 or -6. I think the coldest temp ever in South Africa was -20. So it's something hard to get your head around.
Yeah.
So absolutely crazy. But again, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time. It's meant a lot. It was epic to watch you lift. It was an honor to
Thanks.
announce for you, and a good year of training. And looking forward to hopefully seeing you in Reno as well, because that'll be a lot of fun to watch you compete.
All right. Thanks for your time and have a Merry Christmas. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to
Yeah.
hearing from you again.
Absolutely. So I'm going to end the stream and then I'll just chat to you quickly off air. It'll be about 10 seconds of dark screen, and then I'll be back with you shortly. Folks, thank you for joining
Yep.
us. Big thank you to our guest Cardyl as well. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with Desmond Jordan from his gym. That's going to be fun. So stay with us for that.